Hey y'all, I'm Elisa and I am the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have a Bible journaling process video for you. I am in the book of Micah and I am going to be taking down some sermon notes in Micah 3, 1 through 4. My church is doing a sermon series in Micah right now, and we're focusing mainly on Micah 6, 8, to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God, and then pulling out some other verses from there. So I am using the Illustrated Faith Brothers and Sisters in Christ set that they released that first week of June as a freebie for all of us to use to journal and to process, and that is what I plan to do. So I've pulled out some of the words. I love this group of crafty ladies right here, love that, and then a few of these other faces, some different pieces over here. So I'm going to put all of that into my Bible, take a few notes, and that'll be it. I will make sure to link everything that I can find down below. Otherwise, let's go. I have chosen 3 colors of Distress Oxide ink. That's picked raspberry, mustard seed, and peacock feathers, and I'm going to use them to create a rainbow. I start out with my blush brush, my contour brush, but it wasn't really working how I wanted, so I just went ahead and switched to the domed blending brush and got a much more saturated color, which is what I was looking for. I'm not wanting crisp lines. I want the colors to kind of blend into each other, and that's why I only picked these 3 colors, knowing that as I blend the yellow into the pink, there will be some orange that's created. You kind of get the color effect of the mixing happening. And same with the peacock feathers. As I come in here, you get some greens mixed in just ever so lightly as the colors are meeting up. And that is just going to be part of the background for my page. I'm filling the corner there really loosely, and same thing over here. I just want to soften the edge of the pink rainbow. Next, I'm coming in with this stencil. I do not know where this stencil is from. I know I picked it up last summer, the Scrapbook Expo. It might be the Crafters Workshop, but not totally sure. And I'm using it. It reminds me of pipes and of things that are connected and kind of entwined. And so I'm using it to bring out these colors onto the rest of the page and to just show how the rainbow is a mixture of all colors, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do the peacock down here, and here's where you'll start to see some of that green as I really take the peacock and bring it in to the yellow a pretty good amount. I'm actually kind of daubing down. So this is the dome blender. Instead of brushing on the top, I'm pressing down and twisting to kind of make sure it stays within that stencil mark. I don't want the stencil to kind of be rustled around as I am working, so I'm just putting it down and twisting, and that gives me a pretty clear impression. I did not clean off my stencil between colors, so you'll see up there it's got some green coming out, but that's okay. Now this is Distress Oxide, and a lot of times I forget to really take advantage of its oxidation properties, except this time I did decide to splatter some water on the paper, and I do like just the very light effect that it gave. I dry it pretty well, and just the spotty effect I really appreciated. Now I'm going to start placing different paper pieces, and there were a lot that I wanted to include on this page, so you're going to see me messing around and moving things around quite a bit just because I wasn't sure how it was going to go. So while I do that, let me read to you the verse that I was focused on. And again, this is in Micah 3, 1 and 2. Then I said, "Now listen, leaders of Jacob, you rulers of the house of Israel. Aren't you supposed to know what is just? You hate good and love evil. You tear off people's skin and strip their flesh from their bones." And we focus on this passage in the light of humility and looking for humility in ourselves as leaders, in our families and in our communities, and then humility in our leaders. And I think that was an important point that I took away from the sermon, and how humility is something that sometimes our society looks down upon, but being humble is really valued in the Bible and really valued by God. So I loved that passage and loved what I took away from it. So I decided to use this black and white floral piece to kind of nest my ladies on. And I think for a minute I'm going to add some flowers, but then there's plenty of color on this page, so I decided not to. I've pretty much got everything secure in where I want it. And my idea is to let these pieces, these words, be the basis of my journaling. So I come back in and I'm going to add some hand lettering in different sections. And whenever I do that, I always start with pencil because I'm not quite sure how everything is going to fit together. And truthfully, I kind of wish I had redone a part of it. I had an idea that I was going to bring in those beautiful faces that you see in the upper right hand corner, but then it just didn't work out to have them on. The page is super busy. There's a lot going on. And so I didn't have them on, which left me with some awkward space. And you'll see that here in just a few minutes when I come back. See, I think, oh, well, I'll add this here, and then I'm going to add something else here. And I know the phrases that I want to say, and so I'm filling in those words and varying up my handwriting just a little bit, but there were some awkward spaces at the end, and so I had to fill those in with other parts. And you'll see how it all works out in the end. I just didn't necessarily plan the best. I decided to leave all this footage of me kind of messing about with these different heads just so that you guys could see that sometimes we all kind of struggle with decision. I just thought the heads looked strange when I had the full bodies down below. Like the floating heads didn't make sense when there were already people standing there. I'm sure that is just in my head, but that's okay. So the phrases that I added, I said, brothers and sisters, comma, we must love each other and remind ourselves. Then it goes to we are not alone. And then it goes down to I will always stand up, and I add for you. And then in the end, we are in this together. So as I finish up tracing here with my Tombow lettering pen, you'll see me once again. I really want to use these sweet little faces, and I'll just have to use them in another entry. I kind of group them, I put them in different places, and to me, you know, when I'm looking at it now, it doesn't look that crazy, but when I was looking at it before, it just ended up looking so busy. There's a lot going on in the background, which I love. You guys know I love busy pages. I love them to be full, and this was just a lot of room, and man, did I fill it up anyway. So I think, I don't know about that. So I end up just taking everything off and thinking, okay, simpler is better sometimes. And what I end up doing is I drew an arrow between love each other and we are not alone. And now I'm thinking, well, I'll just draw an arrow, like a word map, and it will lead down to my crafty ladies group. So that's what I end up doing. And again, I like to sketch it out in pencil first, just because I've been known to make some mistakes, arrows pointing the wrong way, that type of thing. So I am kind of making a little road map here for how to read this prayer or this just declaration, and I'm bringing it down right here and ending with pointing at my crafty lady group here at the bottom. And once I'm good with the placement, then I just trace over it again with that same pen that I just love for doing hand lettering, adding that in. Again, just sketched out arrows, nothing really formal about this page except for its declaration of being in this together and really lifting each other up and not tearing each other down, like it was talking about in this passage of Micah when he was kind of condemning the leaders for how they were acting and telling them they were supposed to know what was just, and he was not seeing that. Added my little tab, and then I'll go and grab a date stamp, my VersaFine Onyx black ink, and I get kind of a messy stamp, so I stamp it a couple times so it looks a little bit more intentional, and that is it. Thank you to the team members of Illustrated Faith for putting together this beautiful collection for all of us to use. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. And I have supplies linked down below, as well as a link to sign up for my email newsletter that goes out every couple weeks, so make sure to check that out also. I hope you have a fantastic day, and as always, keep it creative.